If you thought today's biggest automotive story couldn't get any more interesting, wait until you hear what happened. And as always, today's episode is brought to you with support from Personamize.ai.
When I first read today's headlines, I honestly didn't expect the story to take this direction. There's a lot to unpack, so let's break it all down.
So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's dive right into today's biggest automotive stories. You know, Maya, there's been quite a buzz lately about Chinese automakers making a dash for factory space in Europe. It feels like a pivotal moment, doesn't it?
Absolutely, Alec. The urgency is palpable. With the EU set to impose stricter regulations on emissions, it's clear these automakers are trying to get ahead of the curve. What do you think prompted this sudden push?
It's multifaceted, really. For starters, the EU is tightening its environmental standards, which will make it harder for automakers that aren't compliant. Chinese manufacturers see this as a chance to establish a foothold. They're not just looking to sell cars, they want to build them locally to avoid tariffs and meet regulations seamlessly.
That makes perfect sense. Setting up shop in Europe allows them to avoid those hefty import duties while also showcasing their commitment to sustainability. I mean, many of these companies are already heavily investing in electric vehicle technology.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the competitive landscape. European manufacturers have been traditionally strong, but as we see things, brands like BYD and NIO are emerging as serious contenders. Establishing factories in Europe could level the playing field dramatically.
That's a good point. I wasn't expecting such a rapid shift in the hierarchy of the automotive market. With the EU regulations coming into play, it seems like a race against time.
And it's not just about compliance. It's also an effort to tap into the growing market for electric vehicles in Europe. The demand for EVs is skyrocketing, and having local production means they can respond to market needs more quickly.
Speaking of demand, what do you think the reaction from European consumers will be? Do you think they'll be open to these brands?
That's where things get interesting. European consumers have shown a willingness to embrace EVs, but there's still a strong brand loyalty to established names. However, if Chinese brands can deliver on quality and price, they might just disrupt the status quo.
Right, and we can't ignore the technological advancements these companies bring. Many Chinese automakers are at the forefront of battery technology and software integration, which could give them an edge.
That could reshape the entire landscape. If they can offer a more advanced product at a competitive price, it could force European manufacturers to innovate faster. A bit of healthy competition might be just what the industry needs.
So what's the long-term outlook here? Will we see a significant shift in the automotive industry landscape in Europe?
I think we will. As Chinese manufacturers establish their presence, they'll likely influence local supply chains and partnerships, which could lead to greater collaboration between regions. And with electric vehicles being the focal point, Europe may end up being a testing ground for innovative technologies that could be adopted worldwide.
And with all this happening, it raises the question of how traditional automakers will adapt. Will they pivot fast enough to stay relevant?
That's a critical issue. They can't afford to sit back and watch. They'll need to invest heavily in R&D and perhaps rethink their strategies. The clock is ticking as the EU regulations loom closer.
It's definitely a high-stakes game. What do you think will be the biggest obstacle for these Chinese companies moving forward?
One major hurdle will be establishing trust. European consumers need to feel confident in the quality and longevity of these new brands. There's also the challenge of navigating the intricate web of European laws and regulations, which can be quite complex.
That's a great point. They really need to ensure they don't just meet regulations, but exceed expectations. This could determine their success or failure in the market.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the geopolitical landscape. Trade tensions and tariffs could complicate matters. They'll need to stay nimble and adaptable.
It's a fascinating time for the automotive industry. We're witnessing a seismic shift that could redefine the competitive dynamics in Europe.
For sure, it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. The intersection of technology, business strategy, and consumer behavior is more critical than ever.
I guess we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled and see how these developments shape the future of the automotive landscape in Europe.
Agreed, this story is just beginning, and it's going to be captivating to watch.
Thanks for the engaging conversation, Alec. I'm excited to see what's next for the automotive industry.
Likewise, Maya, until next time.